is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is different, then we will not take birth again in this life. And that's what Lord Krishna was telling Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. And there's so much of attachment that, humans go through. So it's very difficult for us to even understand that, God has a form, but his form is different. And there like there's so many scriptures, there's so much of knowledge outside, some is right, some is wrong. So some people get so frustrated, they're so frustrated that they actually don't want to understand who is God, or they don't want to really get down and understand, okay, this is reality, Bhagavad Gita. And there is fear also. Yeah, a lot of people go through fear, so they don't want to accept it, and they don't want this body, they just want to merge into the Brahman. Yeah, this is what I understood. Right. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for summarizing it. Yes, any other points? Anyone else? Any other points? Welcome, Preeti. Good to see you after a long time.
Thanks, Vijay. I think I had some personal commitments on Saturdays, so I could not. But I always had this that the moment I'll kind of get free, I'll be back. So I'll try to catch up and look at the recordings. I will do that.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Anyone else? Any other points from the previous class? Anybody? There were many important, two important shlokas actually discussed, right? 9 and 10. Something related to being free from attachment, fear. We also saw a video as well. What was the video about? What was the video about? Anyone? Okay, how many of you all were there last time?
Prabhuji, we left half class because we had to go to Chahat school. But we saw the video of initial 5 minutes or so. There were some characters acting. No, we couldn't catch up, so I really don't know. Initial 5 minutes we saw.
Okay. Yes, Pṛthā Mataji, you want to add?
It was Ravana Bhi Zinda Hai.
Yes.
That was a video. And also, means the video was very beautiful, very good, very hilarious, but it's so wrongly put up, and it's so true that we're not understanding whom are we running behind, what are we listening to. We're not even thinking, we just listen and okay, he's right, come back and just go walk on those lines. So this is what I understand. So when first of all, we got to be sure which class we're attending, what we're listening, and what we're taking back with us. Because what we take back with us actually goes a long way with us. So in that video, I realized that, when you know something is wrong, just don't go for it. Right. And association, very important. And the preacher, the speaker is very important.
Okay, so thanks for sharing that. So I think up till now, what we've done is, till this point, Krishna has explained what that transcendental knowledge is. It's the knowledge about himself, and one who knows him the way he is actually liberated. So Krishna starts by describing how this knowledge has been received, and then he goes on to talk about himself, right? How he gave it to sun god, etc. And there has been many births which Arjuna and Krishna had taken, but Arjuna doesn't remember, Krishna remembers all of them. And then Krishna goes on to describe from 6th verse that how his body is transcendental, and he's unborn and lord of all living entities, right? So, and he says when he comes when there is a decline in religious principles and predominant rise of irreligion, then he descends millennium after millennium. And one who knows his nature who knows his transcendental nature, such a person, or upon such a person upon leaving his body goes back to God. And then he also says while he's living, he's free from anger, attachment, fear, because he's fully taking refuge in me. Because one who knows or understands Krishna as he is, understands that everything is taken care or controlled by the Lord himself. So he's purified, his heart is purified by such knowledge, and thus they attain the transcendental love of me, is what the Lord describes. So here from the verse number 11, how to act basis this transcendental knowledge, Krishna further outlines. So first of all, he says, okay, let's read the shloka. It's very, very important shloka, very nice verse, and we should all try and memorize this one. So chant after me. Ye yatha mam prapadyante
ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते
tam tathaiva bhajamyaham
तां तथैव भजाम्यहम्
mama vartmanuvartante
मम वर्तमानुवर्तन्ते
manushya partha sarvasah.
मनुष्यपार्था सर्वशः
Ye yatha mam prapadyante
ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते
tam tathaiva bhajamyaham
तामस्तथैव भजाम्यहम्
mama vartmanuvartante
मम वर्तमानुवर्तन्ते
manushya partha sarvasah.
मनुष्यपार्था सर्वशः.
Okay, anyone would like to chant this? Someone would like to chant the shloka? You should try. Yes, Chinmay, please make an attempt. Chinmay, are you there? We would love to hear your voice. Okay. Anyone else would like to chant?
I'll give it a try, Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am. Please.
ये यथा मम प्रपद्यन्ते तं तत एव भजमनि अहं मम वर्तमा अनुवर्तन्ते मनुष्य पार्थ सर्वसा.
Very nice. Anyone else would like to chant?
Shall I do it, Prabhuji?
Yes, please.
ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते तांस्तैव भजाम्यहम् मम वर्तमानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः.
It's very nice. Anybody else would like to lead or should we go ahead with translation?
I do, Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
Ye yatha mam prabodante tastathav vrajamyaham mam vartamanu vartante manushya parth sarvesha.
Very nice.
Prabhuji, I'll do.
Yes.
ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते तां तथैव भजाम्यहं मम वर्तमानुवर्तन्ते मानुषपार्थ सर्वशः.
Okay, so let's read the translation. Anyone here would like to read the translation?
Shall I? Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Go ahead.
As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects. O son of Pṛthā. Son of Pṛthā, no? Yeah.
Yes. Good. Okay, so Krishna is saying, as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects. O son of Pṛthā. And we'll read the purport. So everyone is searching for Krishna in different aspects of his manifestation. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is partially realized as the in-person Brahma-Jyoti effulgence and as the all-pervading supersoul dwelling within everything, including the particles of atoms. But Krishna is fully realized only by his pure devotees. Okay, let's look at the first line of the Bhagavad. Everyone is searching for Krishna in different aspects of his manifestation. How is this line possible? Do you think everyone is searching for Krishna? Is everyone looking for Krishna? Yes, no, maybe.
No, I think no. Not everyone.
Okay. Any other thoughts? What do others?
Yes, because whether they know if they are following Krishna or not, these manifestations,
Mm-hmm.
they are indirectly involved in it.
Parthapriya Prabhu, there is some disturbance from your end. Maybe I'm hearing my own echo. Is it?
Oh, I'll just change to. Although I was muted, I'll check it.
Yes, yes, that's good. Okay, so Subramaniam Prabhu, you're saying that they are behind Krishna because of the manifestations you said. Can you explain?
Yeah. Mm.
If someone is saying something, I'm not able to hear. Hare Krishna. Yes, Priyatama Mataji.
From this line, I understand that everyone is looking for happiness in every activity, in everything that they do, in all senses. But all these senses, the real happiness is actually when you serve Krishna. So indirectly, they're looking for happiness, but the way approach is not ideal.
Yes, nice. Okay, so let's read ahead. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is partially realized in his impersonal Brahma Jyoti refulgence, and as the all-pervading super soul dwelling within everything, including uh, okay, including the particles of atoms. So Krishna is everywhere essentially as Paramatma, but Krishna is fully realized only by his pure devotees. So, Prabhupada, I think further he'll talk. Let's read ahead, maybe, instead of me describing. But here he's essentially talking that how, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is realized in three different features as Brahman, the effulgence, Paramatma as being present everywhere, and Bhagavan, right? Bhagavan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which includes all the three features put together. So Prabhupada gives the example just like the sun globe. Sunshine is visible to all of us, right? Even when sometimes the sun is covered with the clouds, there is sunshine and there is light everywhere. So we know that there is sun in the sky. So so this Brahman realization, Brahma Jyotir, effulgence is just like sunshine, right? So just like sunshine is spread across the universe, right? It's actually lighting up the entire universe. Similarly, the Brahma Jyoti lights the entire spiritual sky, like that. And understanding that okay, God is some light, some energy. That's the Brahman realization, Brahma Jyoti realization. Sorry, or Brahman realization. Yes, the Lord is eternal and He is some supreme power, right? And you'll find majority of the people of the world uh, you know it's not that they are realized in this knowledge. Yeah, somebody who's Brahman realized is like free from material attachments, but at least they have an understanding of the Lord in this form, right? And then there is Paramatma realization, how the Lord is localized in every single atom. He's present everywhere, right? And then Bhagwan realization. So it's compared to the sunshine, the sun globe itself. That's a Paramatma realization. Compared to Paramatma realization, that you see there is a sun globe. It's not just the light, right? And then if you are qualified enough and you can penetrate into the sun globe, then you realize that there is a personality, Vivashvan, right? Sun God, right now. And we read of him a few verses ago. So how there's a personality and there are residents of the sun planet as well. So you have full knowledge. If you actually are able to or qualify to enter the sun planet and see everything, then you already know of the sun globe and you already know of the sunshine. right? It's not that you have to separately realize that. So similarly, one who understands the personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, he already understands the Paramatma feature and the Brahmajyoti, which is nothing but the effulgence from the body of the Lord, like that. So here, it is said that Krishna is the object of everyone's realization, and thus anyone and everyone is satisfied according to the one's desire to have him. In the transcendental world also, Krishna reciprocates with his pure devotees in transcendental attitude, just as the devotee wants him. So Krishna here, what he's saying is, as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So everyone is actually following his path only. It's just different angles of vision or different degrees of surrender, or different ways of approaching the Lord, right? So like we just read, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So ultimately, either you directly approach Krishna or you indirectly approach Krishna. You are approaching Krishna, right? So Krishna reciprocates with his pure devotee in transcendental attitude, just as the devotee wants him. So if someone wants to, like the impersonalists, they want to realize God, in the Brahman feature, for example. So they will, do very severe meditation. They will try to, first of all, they'll say, "Oh, God has no form," and they'll try to, meditate on impersonal void kind of a feature. Not void, sorry, impersonal feature. Like it's just some light, right? And try to merge into that light or merge into existence of the Lord. It is actually spiritual suicide in one sense. Why? Because they want to lose their existence and merge into the existence of God. But the very nature of the soul is activity, right? And I was hearing lecture of Srila Prabhupada on this, and he was describing so wonderfully that how just being there doing nothing is very frustrating actually, because the very nature of the soul is to be active. And he gave the example of traveling in a flight. How many of you here have traveled in a flight? Raise hands, either on a video or virtually. Okay. Yes. Most of you are. Great. So, after a few hours, so when and of course, if you speak to people who travel in train or maybe some other mode of transport who've never traveled in flight, they have this great excitement to travel in flight. Arey, ek baar to jana hai flight mein. Right? But for those who have already traveled in flight, you understand or realize that after a few hours, right, you're frustrated, you want to come down, isn't it? After 3 hours, 4 hours, lamba flight ho gaya, we are frustrated. We are like, when will this plane land? Isn't it? Is this everyone's experience or just me?
Agree, Prabhuji.
Agree.
Right.
You're frustrated in 1 hour only.
Yes. Right. And imagine if you have to travel for many hours, then you're very frustrated. So, similarly,
1 hour उतना तो बैठना ही पड़ेगा ना, वरना कैसे पहुंचेंगे?
yeah. So similarly, the Jivatma who's trying for Brahman realization, they may reach up to Brahma Jyoti and there is no, right? It's just light, existing in light, right? So they have to then come down because, Prabhupada is explaining how, the material world is filled with variety. And the soul also loves variety, right? Why? Because originally there is spiritual world which is filled with a lot more variety, right? And Prabhupada describes variety is the mother of enjoyment. So we are here because we want to enjoy. Nobody wants to be unhappy. Nobody wants to be sad, right? We are here because we are seekers of happiness. Like I think Priyatama Mataji mentioned that we are looking for happiness. Therefore, we are all looking for Krishna because he's the original source of happiness, and we cannot be happy without him. That is something we are realizing slowly and steadily, at least by the grace of Srila Prabhupada and Bhagavad Gita reading. but people in general, they don't realize that, it's actually Krishna they're looking for, because ultimately they're looking for happiness, which can only be possible with Krishna. So we may go up, even up to Brahma Jyoti, right? Or we may fly really high. We may go to space, right? Anyone here who would like to be lost in space? Space mein ghumte raho, udte raho, right? Without anything to do. Is that something good? Will you be happy?
No, Prabhu.
No,
So,
not at all.
yes. Because what is there in space? There is void, right? There's nothing. Prabhupada in the lecture, he was describing how even on sea, and he was describing his own journey to the US. So, after 4 or 5 days, you're frustrated. And, and Prabhupada had to actually travel for 3 months, I guess. Yeah, 3 months, through sea journey from India to US. So he said, for 4 or 5 days, you're frustrated, right? And as soon as you see some land, you're excited, right? After, being there for so many months, you immediately see some land and everyone is excited, right? Because there is some shelter. Even when you propel yourself in a rocket to the space, right? You can be there for some time and you may be excited and this and that, but then you have to come down because there is no shelter, right? So you have to come down. So, and therefore, in the material world, the pleasure, we are trying hard. We are trying very, very hard to enjoy. There is no shelter. Or even in the Buddhist philosophy, for example, when they talk about voidism, right? Everything is void. Nothing. They have the philosophy of nothing. There was a joke. Somebody had given Dalai Lama a gift on his birthday. So Dalai Lama opened the box and he saw there was nothing. And he said, "This is exactly I wanted, nothing." Because that's their philosophy of voidism, right? Nothing. So, although Lord Buddha is actually incarnation, who actually gave Buddhism, he's incarnation of Lord Vishnu. But he gave that philosophy because it was needed at that point in time. It was required because people were, doing indiscriminate animal killing. He said, ahimsa parodharma. So somebody, some pundits came and said, "Kare, but the Vedas say, violence is allowed in the right circumstance." They are trying to misquote Vedas just to satisfy their tongue with animal killing. So, although there is a quote, yes, violence is justified for the Kshatriya, it is justified to protect dharma. So, Lord Buddha, he said, if Vedas say this, I reject Vedas, like that. And therefore, Vedas were rejected. And then Shankaracharya had to come to establish Vedas again. And he gave, covered voidism, covered Buddhism, right? Which is you can become God, right? You can you through meditation you can become God. You can achieve Brahma Jyoti, merge into the existence of God again, which is nothing but floating in a space doing nothing. So that's at the best Brahmavadis can achieve that, right? And of course the other purpose was to bewilder the atheist. So Krishna, he reciprocates with people how they approach him. If you want to, worship him as impersonal, there is the entire line of Brahmavadis. If you want to, and you can attain up to Brahma Jyoti, right? If you want to worship him as Paramatma, right? Very strict meditation for years and years. And then even the Paramatmavadis, they actually go up to the Brahma Jyoti. They can go up to the Brahma Jyoti. And then they have a choice to either serve the Lord, right? Or, come back, right? So there are so many, so again, getting to the Brahmavadis or even Mayavadis for that matter, who say that the Lord is impersonal, they cannot remain without any doing something. So they may for a few years they may talk about Vedanta philosophy. For a few years they may try to meditate on the impersonal. How do you do that? I don't know. How do you meditate on the impersonal is something that beats me completely. But they try to meditate on the impersonal form of the Lord, and then you see even the big sannyasis in such movements, they turn to philanthropy. They will open hospitals, they'll open schools, they'll open something else, right? Because they cannot remain in void. They cannot remain without doing anything, right? They are saying Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. Mithya means it's not true. Then why are you coming and doing stuff then again, right? Because because Jagat is not Mithya. It's real, but it's temporary. And at the end of the day, by the very nature of the soul, you have to be engaged in something or the other, right? Active. So you either engage negatively or positively, but you have to have some engagement. So Krishna is saying here that he reciprocates accordingly as one approaches him, and and even with his devotees, right? Krishna reciprocates in the spiritual world with his pure devotees. He reciprocates basis their transcendental attitude. So in Bhagavatam, there is a nice description how when Krishna was taken to Mathura to fight Kamsa. To actually, they went to Mathura with Akrura. Krishna had the intention of killing Kamsa. So when he entered that arena where there was, the wrestling match that was arranged by Kamsa. So when he entered that arena, different people saw Krishna differently as per their own mood and attitude. So the Krishna's father Nand Maharaj, he saw as his own little child. Even Vasudev and Devki, they saw Krishna as their own child. Very sweet, loving, gentle child. And all the friends of Krishna who had come along with him and the other Gopas, they saw him as their own, from their own village, their own kinsmen, like that. And all the ladies, they saw him as, Cupid, because Krishna was so attractive. And all the elderly ladies, they saw Krishna as, their son, a very tender, nice boy, right? Very, nazuk bolte na aisa. Krishna's body is so, soft like that. And the the wrestlers, Chanur and Mushtik, they saw Krishna's body as thunderbolt, as strong as a thunderbolt, Indra's Vajra, right? And Kamsa, he saw Krishna as death personified. So, basis the different moods people had, they saw Krishna in different ways, right? And Krishna reciprocated also with them, similarly. So basically, Krishna is reciprocating with our desires. The way we want to serve the Lord accepts and reciprocates in a similar fashion. Just like in the incarnation of Lord Ramchandra, when he was passing through Dandakaranya forest, there were thousands of rishis of the Dandakaranya forest. When they saw Lord Ram, they saw the beauty of Lord Ram. They're completely mesmerized, and they wanted to be, conjugal associates of the Lord. But Lord Ramchandra had Ekapatni Vrata, right? So, he thought, okay, I'll fulfill your desire next time when I come. So, in Krishna Leela, those sages of Dandakaranya became gopis. Or some people also say that they are the 16,108 wives of the 16,000 wives of the Lord who Krishna rescued from, I think, Bhaumasura, right? Yes, Prabhuji? Yeah, I think Bhaumasura, Bhaumasura. Yes, Bhaumasura. Okay. So, in the material world, the same reciprocation of feelings are there, and they're exchanged by Lord with different types of worshippers. So even with us, Krishna exchanges as we approach. He reciprocates basis the different types of worship that we do. The pure devotees both.
Krishna, I think it was Narkasur,
Narkasur, okay.
right?
I'm not able to remember clearly. two.
Narkasur, yeah.
Maybe Narkasur, yeah. So the pure devotees, both here and in the transcendental abode, associate with him in person and are able to render personal service to the Lord, and thus derive transcendental bliss in his loving service. So one who's serving the personality of Godhead, they are able to associate with him personally, right? Either in the form of a deity or in the form of a picture, etc. We are able to associate with the Lord personally. And for those who are impersonalists, who want to commit spiritual suicide by annihilating the individual existence of the living entity, Krishna helps also by absorbing them in his effulgence. Such impersonalists do not agree to accept the eternal blissful personality of Godhead. Consequently, they cannot relish the bliss of transcendental personal service to the Lord, having extinguished their individuality. Some of them who are not firmly situated in the impersonal existence return to this material world, material field to exhibit their dormant desire for activities. They are not admitted into spiritual planets, but they are again given a chance to act on material platform. So, like I was saying, they'll fall back to either doing philanthropy or something, or they might even fall back to doing material activities again. For those who are fruitive workers, the Lord awards the desired results of their prescribed duties as Yagneshwara. And those who are yogis seeking mystic powers are awarded by such powers. So if you are approaching Krishna for some powers, Krishna will give you powers and say, go away, bye bye. Right? For those who are approaching for some material benefit, Krishna can award material benefit also. Right? In other words, everyone is dependent for success upon his mercy alone, and all kinds of spiritual processes are but different degrees of success on the same path. Unless, therefore, one comes to the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness, all attempts remain imperfect, as it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. So, all different processes, right? Ultimately, Krishna is a sanctioning authority, right? Even if you worship some demigod, Krishna is only giving you that faith and sanctioning whatever is supposed to be given to you, right? So, directly or indirectly. And Prabhupada gives the example: you take the staircase to a 100-floor building, or you take a lift, right? So here in the Vaishnava philosophy, you have a direct access and personal association of the Lord available. So why take that long route, right? Climb 100 floors, one step at a time, right? Unless, and that too, when you're climbing, yeah, you need so much enthusiasm to finish the task, and you'll probably take so many days to finish the task. And you need to have that energy, you need to have that enthusiasm to go, keep going. So it's an uphill task all throughout, right? Whereas devotional service, right, you're lifted literally lifted, right? So, unless one comes to the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness, all attempts remain imperfect, as it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. So, even when you go up, at the end of the day, you have to come to the point of Krishna consciousness. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kamo dharadi tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purisham param. So, whatever one, whether one is without desire. So, here Krishna is again, so here Prabhupada is again summarizing how Krishna consciousness for everyone, right? So whether one is without desires, the condition of devotees, pure devotees, or maybe the impersonalists as well, or desires for all fruitive results, the karmis, or is after liberation, or they're seeking liberation, or one should with all efforts try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead for complete perfection, culminating into Krishna consciousness. So either you are desiring all fruitive results, or you're running after liberation, or you're already free from desires. In all three circumstances, you should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because He is the one who's giving you the results of the fruits. He is the one who can give you mystic perfections. He is the one who can give you liberation. And even if you are already liberated, still you can practice Krishna consciousness for the pleasure of the Lord. So you please Krishna, you also experience transcendental bliss, and you set a good example for others to follow by being liberated and still practicing Krishna consciousness or following the rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness. Right? Any thoughts, questions? I see all the hands up, so I guess all of you have questions. Okay, any thoughts or questions so far? Any reflections on what we are reading? Yes, anyone? Rosie, you want to add something?
No, Prithā.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
I was just thinking like to the verse, everyone is searching for Krishna.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's like only few who actually worship Krishna, who are in the shelter of Krishna, whatever they are seeking, seeking in the shelter of Krishna. But out in the world, not everyone is looking for Krishna. Is that right?
Thank you so much for again bringing this point. That's so amazing. Right, I just remembered so many things when you asked this again. So yes, everyone is looking for happiness, isn't it?
Yes,
And
we do.
everyone is looking for love. So happiness and love are very interconnected. So Krishna book is George Harrison who has written the foreword of Krishna book. He says everybody is looking for Krishna. Some know it, some don't know it, because we are ultimately looking for the for happiness and love, right? We all want to love and be loved, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the innate nature.
Yes.
We
So,
realize
so,
it.
but our love right now is misdirected.
Yes.
We are looking for love in the wrong place. Because we have the original nature of loving Krishna. So we are actually looking for Krishna because we have had that experience in past, like long ago, some time immemorial, right? Had that experience. Actually, we still have that experience provided we have the eyes and awareness to see it. Krishna is still so loving, right? He's taking care of us in n number of ways. We are practically dependent on everything on the Lord, and He's very loving. And in fact, I was hearing Prabhupada's lecture. He was saying that Krishna is so loving and kind, right? Even if you have some tinge of material desire remaining, he'll say, "Okay, fine, finish that and then come." Right? He's not someone who's forcing you. Chalo, 1 point to aa jao, spiritual world, right? It's voluntary. So he's so kind and loving that if you have some tinge of material desire, he'll say, "Okay, fine, be there, finish it, then aram se come back," like that. So he's actually fulfilling all our desires as Paramatma, right? He's that loving father who doesn't want to, force the child into something, but he wants us to realize. And he's saying, "Okay, fine, you take the small experience, you realize and come back." And he's also, and this is the point which I was thanking you for, he's also sending his messengers so that you realize it faster. And now that you have become fortunate, you should help others also realize and make them fortunate. I was hearing Guru Maharaj's class in the morning. He was describing how Srila Prahlad Maharaj, right? Uh, when he's praying to Lord Narasimha, he's saying, I'm very happy. And Prahlad Maharaj is always absorbed in thoughts of the Lord. So he's the personality who is known for meditation on, the Lord. Smaranam, right? He's the Acharya for Smaranam. So he's always meditating on the Lord. So he's very transcendently blissful, always very happy, right? In whatever circumstance. But then he's saying, I'm also sad, right? I'm also unhappy. What is the cause of this unhappiness, or why is he sad, right? Why should Prahlad Maharaj be sad, right? In everything that happened to him, he was not sad. Now, why is he sad, right? He says that I feel so much pain seeing, the materialists, they are absorbed day and night, in simply trying to satisfy their senses. So he's feeling the pain that these people, they don't know, what kind of pleasure or what kind of happiness and bliss is there in serving the Lord, right? Prabhupada then goes on to describe how all these temples are open so that, and this is one of the mission statements or Prabhupada's writing, that we've opened these temples or center for Krishna consciousness so that people have a chance to associate with devotees, to sing and dance, in front of the Lord, to be able to see the form of the Lord, right? So we are so very fortunate to have this chance, isn't it? Yes or no? Right? We're
Yes.
so
Yes.
fortunate to have this chance. And, if we don't do anything, like we were just discussing, that we are not a movement which is just simply sitting there and doing nothing. We don't believe in not doing anything. Krishna consciousness is active service, right? Active devotional service. So if we are supposed to do active devotional service, the best service Krishna is saying is you go out and preach this message or science of Bhagavad Gita to others. So we should, at least in this month where Prabhupada has, this is the marathon month for book distribution. So Prabhupada is requesting everyone, if you want to please me, the thing that pleases me most is you go out and distribute my books, right? So you're literally handing the message of the Lord. It's like direct letter from Krishna, you're handing it to someone, right? It's a personal letter of the Lord to that person. If you act as a postman, right, one of the postmen in the chain, if you act like that, then Krishna is so pleased. And all the acharyas, the entire parampara, Sri Prabhupada is very, very pleased. And through that mercy, you are lifted. When you're talking how this process is like a lift, you're lifted through mercy. Krishna consciousness, right? Prabhupada gives the example of, you want the monkey way or you want the cat way, right? Cat is, cat will grab the cub, kitten in his teeth, right? And then move around. So that's how the kitten is carried around, right? And it's very around, so he's just hanging, right? Enjoying the mother cat or, taking her around or him around. But monkey ways, the monkey has to hold tightly to the parent, to the she monkey or the he monkey, whatever. The baby monkey has to hold very, very tight while they jump from one tree to the other. So you want the monkey way where with all your strength you're holding, or you want the cat way where you're simply lifted, right? So yes, so if we want to be lifted, right, we have to attract the mercy of the Lord. And this is the best way, the best time to actually attract mercy of the Lord. And Prabhupada was describing, Guru Maharaj was also describing, in fact, in the class, that how when we are engaged in such a way, we can, our minds are engaged. The most difficult thing to do is actually engage the mind. Krishna is saying, first engage the mind. Cannot do that, fine. Engage, do work for me. If you cannot do that, do, nishkam karma yoga. If you can do that, do sakam karma yoga, like that. So to engage the mind is the most difficult thing. But when you do this service, you'll automatically start thinking, Arey, how do I do book distribution? Right? How do I, where should I go? Whom should I approach? How should I plan? When you're using your intelligence in service of Krishna, right, that is enthusiasm. Enthusiasm means endeavoring with intelligence. So with that, your mind gets preoccupied in thoughts of how do I serve Krishna. And that is the transcendental competition that goes in the spiritual world, where devotees are thinking, oh, this devotee is serving so nicely, I should serve better. And they're, planning, thinking, meditating, how do I serve Krishna better? And Krishna is enjoying, oh, these people are trying to serve me more and more, better and better. And therefore, service to Krishna is always expanding like that in the spiritual world. And if we do the same here in the material world, this place will become transformed into spiritual world itself, right? At least for ourselves, those who are endeavoring. So you have to keep endeavoring more and more in terms of how do I please Krishna more? How do I serve him better? How do I serve him more? If your mind is absorbed there, then you're constantly meditating on the Lord. You're better than so many rishis who might be trying to meditate for thousands of years. Yes, Mataji. Pṛthā Mataji. Yes.
No, you carry on. After you're done, I would like to share something if it's okay with you.
I'm done. You can share.
Yeah. So in context to what you were saying, one of the senior devotees once told us in the class, there are two kinds of birds. So there was this one flock of birds which was trapped in a place which was very dried up. There was no water. It was stinking, no food, nothing for them, no one to feed them. But still they were ready to live there. They had to fly across, there was sea, but they didn't have the faith in themselves that they can fly. So there's another flock of birds which come in and they see these little birds and they say, come, you sit on my back, we'll take you across the ocean and you'll survive, you'll live. And they say, okay, yes, why not try? So these birds get on top of their back and now these birds begin to fly. Now these tiny birds are scared because these birds can fly at a higher altitude. They're like, no, it's better to die in that stinking place, no water, no food, we'll die that way, but we don't want to fall from up. So they said, get us down, get us down. So the birds say, you all will die. They're like, okay, we are ready to die that life. We don't want to live. So the birds put them back over there. They're like, okay, this is what you want, destiny. Fine, you go live over there. Now, these birds which were flying at a higher altitude is actually our books, our spiritual masters, our teachers who are ready to lift people like me. They're ready to lift us up. But as you say, we need to engage our mind, that we need to, not listen to our mind, but believe in our teachers, in the books, in what Srila Prabhupada has given. That endeavor has to be there, that yes, I trust the books, I will fly across. And if I fly across, I'll be able to serve my master better, serve Lord Krishna better. So this is what I just thought of. Yeah.
Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Thank you for sharing this very beautiful example. Yes. Our endeavor is just we have to get in the lift and remain there, or get on the back of the bird and be there, not you know come out or not get down. That's our endeavor. That's it, right? We are not. We struggle with that also, unfortunately. Yes. Rose, you want to add something?
Yes, Suji. So this question of are we looking for Krishna everywhere? So there's one very nice point that Srila Prabhupada writes in the book Science of Self-Realization. I'll read it out as it is, because
Yes.
when I read it first, it really struck me. This is in the Science of Self-Realization in the chapter called Relevant Inquiry. So there he writes that uh, because he is the perfect person, he's talking about Krishna here, because he is the perfect person, his beauty, opulence, fame, strength, knowledge, and renunciation are all unlimited sources of transcendental bliss for individual souls. So we know that Krishna has 6 opulences, and so Prabhupada is writing that it's sources of transcendental bliss for the individual soul. And then he says the individual soul becomes attracted by all these different opulences when they are imperfectly represented by other conditioned souls. But the individual soul is not satisfied by such imperfect representation, and therefore he perpetually seeks the perfect one. So I'll just summarize what Prabhupada is saying here is these 6 opulences are there, and we are all attracted by these 6 opulences when they are imperfectly represented by the individual soul. So some time before in a class we were discussing how in the material world also people have opulences like beauty, fame, wealth, strength, and we get attracted to these things, to the opulences. So we may say that we are not looking for Krishna, but we are actually getting attracted to these opulences.
Perfect. Yes.
But the problem is that we are not really satisfied by these imperfect representations, and therefore we are never happy. Although we find someone beautiful, we find someone intelligent, we find someone strong, or whatever, any of these 6 opulences. So there is an imperfect representation of it, but we become frustrated at the end of it because we are actually looking for Krishna, who is full in all these 6 opulences, and that alone will actually satisfy us. So the living entity Prabhuji was describing, living entity is actually perpetually looking for Krishna only, but that is becoming manifest in an imperfect way in this material world in so many things and relationships that we might desire.
Thank you for sharing this, Prabhuji. I think I also got reminded of how Prabhupada actually began the lecture, and this was an amazing point that struck me on how everyone's looking for Krishna. So he said that we all love ourselves, right? We all take care of our bodies. Everyone, we're all trying to take care of our bodies, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Or even we intend to take care of the bodies of our loved ones, near ones, right? If somebody is sick, we try to tend to them. If someone is old, we try to help them, right? So we take care of ourselves and we take care of our loved ones, their bodies as well, correct?
Yes.
But we don't take care of dead bodies, isn't it? Once the soul leaves the body, not that we'll preserve the body for 20 days or just leave the dead body and take care of the dead body. We don't do that, right?
Yeah, true.
Right. So Why? Because Krishna's part and parcel is there, or even in our body, we are Krishna's part and parcel. Right? Therefore, we are trying to take care. We are trying to do some service care, etc. But the minute the part and parcel of the Lord leaves, and why Krishna is all attractive, so even the part and parcel is attractive. Therefore, we are willing to invest time, energy to take care. While the living entity is still in the body. So ultimately, we are attracted to Krishna, and his energy, his manifestations, and parts and parcels at the end of the day, right? So, like Prabhuji just described, how we are still everyone is looking for Krishna only, maybe indirectly, but yes. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Okay, let's read the next one. Kang,
Subramanian Prabhu has his hand up, I think.
maybe that's from the poll that we took. Prabhuji, you want to say something? Subramaniam Prabhu, if you're there, you want to ask something?
No, I think it's you explained it very well. Priya also, Prabhu, you also explained very well. And even she, Mataji, she had spoke very nicely about this. So I think it was quite clear.
Okay, fine. All right. Kang Shanta Karmanam Siddhim
Kankshanta karmanam siddhim
Yajanta Iha Devata
yajanta iha devata
Vipram Hi Manusha Loke
shipram hi manushe loke
Siddhir Bhavati Karmaja.
siddhi bhavati karmaja.
Anyone would like to read the translation? Anybody here?
Yeah, men in this world desire success in fruitive activities and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world.
Right. So now Krishna is explaining how, he spoke about, different people who approach him in different ways. And now he's starting to talk about the fruitive workers. So men in this world desire success in fruitive activities and therefore they worship demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. So purport, there's a great misconception about gods or demigods of the material world and men of less intelligence, although passing as great scholars, take these demigods to be various forms of Supreme Lord. Actually, the demigods are not different forms of God, but they are different. They are God's different parts and parcels. God is one, and the parts and parcels are many. So the Veda says Nityo Nityanam. God is one, Ishvara Parama Krishna. So I think people, they accuse, God is one, but see, Hindu religion, there are so many gods, 33 crore Devi Devta and all of that. So that's a misconception, of course. So it's being clarified here how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is only one, right? Ishvara Parama Krishna. The Supreme God is one, Krishna. And the demigods are delegated with powers to manage the material world. These are other Jivatmas who are empowered to manage different material affairs. These demigods are all living entities, Nityanam, with different grades of material power. They cannot be equal to the Supreme God, Narayan, Vishnu, or Krishna. Anyone who thinks that the gods and demigods are on the same level is called an atheist or Pashandi. So to think that the demigods and Krishna are equal, they are on the same level of atheist actually or Pashandi. Even the great demigods like Brahma and Shiva cannot be compared to the Supreme Lord. In fact, the Lord is worshipped by demigods such as Brahma, Shiva, Shiva Virincha Nutam. Yet, curiously enough, there are many human leaders who are worshipped by foolish men under the misunderstandings of anthropomorphism or zoomorphism, right? So we can imagine how, Krishna, he expands in, and I think we've discussed this so many times, how he expands into Balram, Balram expands into Chaturvyuha, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Nirud, Vasudev, and then from there another Chaturvyuha. From there all the Narayana forms. From one of them comes, from one of the Sankarshanas actually comes the Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu then breathes out all the universes, then enters each universe as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and that Garbhodakshaya Vishnu's then from his navel, Brahma is born, and then Brahma creates. And each day of Brahma, he creates, the entire universe, and all the demigods, etc., come after that, right? And each day, when the lotus closes, Brahma sleeps, right? His night. All the demigods are destroyed. Everyone else is destroyed actually, and the next day again there is, creation, like that. So every day Brahma literally creates. So to consider these demigods who are, uh, first of all, not even one of the Narayana or Vishnu forms, or not even, so they are so many of, expansions of the Lord, culminates into Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who then, manifests Brahmaji from his navel. And then, these demigods. So to compare them, it's like, to compare a lamp in front of a sun, right? So एक दिए को sun के साथ compare करोगे तो कैसे चलेगा? Like that. So even the great demigods yet curiously enough, there are many human leaders who are worshipped by foolish men uh, under the misunderstanding of anthropomorphism and zoomorphism. So there are foolish people who even worship people, right? Yare, this is God. Rajnikant ka mandir bana diya, Amitabh ka mandir bana diya, right? It's crazy. So Iha Devata denotes a powerful man or demigod of this material world. But Narayan, Vishnu, or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, does not belong to this world. He is above or transcendental to material creation. Even Sripad Shankaracharya, the leader of impersonalists, maintain that Narayan or Krishna is beyond this material creation. However, foolish people, Hritagnana, worship, Hritagnana means somebody whose knowledge is stolen away, worship the demigods because they want immediate results. They get the results, but do not know that the results so obtained are temporary and are meant for less intelligent persons. Right? The intelligent person in Krishna consciousness, the intelligent person is in Krishna consciousness. He has no need to worship the paltry demigods for some immediate temporary benefits. Right? What do people generally ask? What are these temporary benefits? What have you asked in the past? Or maybe still asking? Right? I remember I used to
It
ask.
can be money, success,
Yes.
children, all materialistic things.
I used to pray to get good marks. Yeah, that was. Anyways. So, yes, Yagya Mataji, you were saying something?
Yeah, I was saying even liberation.
Liberation, yes.
Yeah.
But there are hardly people who are asking for liberation. Everyone wants to, you know, most of the people at least want to enjoy a material world. They're not in that mood of, giving up everything and being liberated. I don't remember clearly, but there was this entire story of Narad Muni once saying to people, "Come, come." I think the same example what Priyatama Mataji said. He was like, "Come, let's go, right? I'll take you to the spiritual world." And he preached, and he started walking, and in no time, he gathered so many people to walk behind him, but then in no time, nobody was there, and he himself alone reached Vaikuntha. And like, "Arey, where did everyone go?" Like that. I mean, I heard this in a class. I don't know, if there is a historic story like that. I just heard in a class. So, so basically, we are foolish because of the temporary benefits. We are distracted, right? And so in the once you are actually on the path of Krishna consciousness, we have to save ourselves or guard ourselves from these distractions. Maya is now even more active for a devotee. For someone who's trying to, get out of Maya's lap, right? We're happily sleeping in Maya's lap, right? We're all Maya bhaktas, right? We are kind of tightly holding on to Maya, and it's we actually who are holding on to Maya. There's a beautiful story of Ashtavakra. So, so once in the kingdom of Janak Maharaj, Janak Maharaj was sitting on the throne, and he was asking his ministers how to get free from Maya, right? And everyone is, kind of trying to answer it or thinking, and nobody is able to satisfy, give a satisfactory answer, or nobody's able to, think what is the way out, how to get free from Maya. Right? Very big question. Everyone is perplexed. For days and days, people are thinking, trying to find answers. They're searching, right? And then Ashtavakra is one of the sages. He enters the kingdom, and the king very, very nicely, Janak Maharaj, he's a Mahajan himself actually. Right? Imagine he's thinking like this, or he's asking this question. So he very nicely, makes him sit on the throne, washes his feet, and begs him, please, we are perplexed with this question, how to get free from Maya. Right? So what Ashtavakra does is he gets up immediately, and he starts running. And he runs and runs, and everybody is now behind him. They're running. Arey, what happened to, the sage? And they're all running behind. Janak Maharaj runs. Everyone else, all the ministers run, right? And Ashtavakra, was it Ashtavakra or maybe son of Ashtavakra? I'm a little confused, but yeah, one of them, either the son or he himself. They were running, and then he enters one of the gardens, and he embraces a tree. He embraces a big tree. He embraces the tree and says, leave me, please leave me, please leave me. He starts shouting and crying like that. So everybody is wondering, अरे what happened to this sage? मतलब कुछ गलत खिला दिया क्या हमने? क्या हो गया? Right? So, but Janak Maharaj, he understood. He understood that it's we who are holding on to Maya. Right? We're holding on to Maya like this, and we are yelling, please free me, free me. Right? And we are tightly holding on to Maya. So Maya Devi is not concerned because we are tightly holding on to Maya. But for a devotee who now starts accepting Krishna consciousness and seriously starts to perform devotional service, he's someone who's trying to get out of the lap of Maya. So Maya is alert, right? Maya is very alert. Maya's marathon is 24/7. I was hearing Guru Maharaj today. He was like, Maya's marathon is 24/7, 365 days. So to get ourselves out of Maya, right, we should at least do 1 month marathon of book distribution. So we ourselves will get out of Maya and help others also get out of Maya by giving this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Yagya.
Yeah, I just wanted to add here. I was hearing a lecture in morning today, and it was reminding me, it's the same point. It was reminding me of the lines of Srila Prabhupada that we have an innate nature of serving. So if we will not serve Krishna, we'll anyhow serve Maya. But we will serve because that's our eternal nature. And today, while hearing a lecture in the morning, Prabhuji was mentioning what really differentiates karmis from bhaktas, because both of them are serving. So karmis, they are even, if you see, and on a, when we see that, like on a material platform, we'll find karmis, they perform their duties in a better way. They're serving continuously. But the point is that are they concerned that Lord is pleased? So this is what differentiates the karmis and bhaktas and even service.
Yeah. So they are putting endeavor, we are putting endeavor. Somebody will say, and I think Guru Maharaj also says this, he was saying that, आपके मंदिरों में तो बहुत सेवा होता है. Right? You're also putting so much effort. So marathon after marathon, so many marathons, right? And he was describing how there was a Bhagavatam marathon before this marathon. So, and then he mentioned the point that, we might also be putting so much endeavor, and the karmis are also putting so much endeavor, but the results are completely different. Here we are trying to please Krishna, there they are trying to please their own senses, and they're frustrated, and here we are blissful, right? So you have to work hard, but then you have to use your intelligence, what to work hard for, right? Imagine if your boss doesn't pay your salary, you still continue to work hard? No, right? So we have to see what we are getting. Right? So the demigods of this material world, as well as the worshippers, will vanish and annihilate. So here, if somebody is worshipping the demigods, they are getting some temporary benefit. The intelligent person in Krishna consciousness, the intelligent person is in Krishna consciousness, and he has no need to worship the paltry demigods for some immediate temporary benefits. Demigods of this material world, as well as their worshippers, will vanish with the annihilation of this material world. Right? They will vanish. The boons of the demigods are material and temporary. Both the material worlds and their inhabitants, including the demigods and their worshippers, are like bubbles in the cosmic ocean. Right? So demigods themselves are like, their lifespan is, although may look very, very big and great, but it's like just one bubble in the cosmic ocean. Yeah? Bubble, aya gaya, how much time it takes, right? In this world, however, human society is mad after temporary things, such as material opulence of possessing land, family, and enjoyable paraphernalia. To achieve such temporary things, people worship the demigods or powerful men in human society. If a man gets some ministership in the government by worshipping a political leader, he considers that he has achieved a great boon. So, all of them are therefore kowtowing to so called leaders or big guns in order to achieve temporary boons. And they indeed achieve such things. Such foolish men are not interested in Krishna consciousness for the permanent solution to hardships of material existence. Right? They are still going to, suffer the seven miseries, which is birth, death, old age, disease, Adi Bhautik, Adi Atmik, and Adi Daivik Klesha. Even if they achieve such high positions, they are all after sense enjoyment and get a little facility for sense enjoyment, and they are attracted to worshipping empowered living entities known as demigods. This verse indicates that people are rarely interested in Krishna consciousness. They're mostly interested in material enjoyment, and therefore they worship some powerful living entity. So either maybe Prabhupada is giving example of a minister also. It's like, minister ka chamchagiri karo, you'll be, you will get your work done like that. So, trying to appease the demigods is something like that, right? And because ultimately you're interested in material enjoyment, and therefore you may worship some powerful living entity. So I forgot I was trying to say something. Prabhuji, you want to add something here?
No, Prithvi.
Okay. Anyone else? Any thoughts? Any reflections on this? Prabhuji, do you remember that story? I'm not able to recollect the full thing. But the story where this man wanted to serve the best, and he first he saw a shopkeeper, and he saw how everyone is requesting him for getting the material and things, how even the beggars would come and beg to him. So he thought he's the highest. He said, I want to serve you. And then he saw how this shopkeeper was actually paying, bowing down in front of the tax collector and paying his taxes. So he's like, I want to serve you now. Shifted. And then, the tax collector ultimately, uh, took the tax and, deposited that in the local, what do you call that? Local leaders, the area leaders' house. And then he started serving the area leader, and then ultimately to the king. And then he saw how the king is also, worshipping or bowing down in front of sadhus. And then ultimately he saw how the sadhus bow down in front of the Lord. So then he decided to worship the Lord. I think that's how it goes, but I'm not remembering a lot of details here. So again, to the point Yagya Mataji made, we are all serving. We cannot give up the nature of serving, but we need to decide whom to serve. Right? Do we serve people who are selfishly motivated, or companies who are destroying the planet, or we may have to do that maybe for our maintenance, but ultimately our desire should be to serve the Lord. If we are desiring to serve the Lord, then we are intelligent. Okay, any other thoughts or points on this? Any questions or doubts? maybe we do this last verse, Sloka 36, or if you have any question, then we'll take that. Nothing? Okay, let's do this last verse. Chaturvarnam maya shishtam
Chaturvarnam maya shishtam
guna karma vibhagasha
guna karma vibhagasha
asya kartaramapi mam
tasya kartaramapi mam
vidhi akartaramavayam.
vidhiya kartaramavayam.
Very important shloka. Please read the translation, someone.
Shall I?
Yes, Guruji.
Yeah, according to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable.
Right. So, Krishna saying Chaturvarnam Maya Shishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. Right? According to the three modes of material nature and work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. Although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. So, two things Krishna is saying here. One is that he is the one who's created the four divisions, Chatur Varnan and Ashrama, right? So Chatur Varnyam, what are the Varnas? Anyone? What are the four Varnas?
Brahman, Kshatriya, Shudra, Vaishya, Shudra.
Oh God, you're preaching caste system. It's very bad. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. It's caste system, right? Isn't it? Let me try and tell this in English. Okay. The the teacher's class, somebody who's teaching. You have the administrative class who's doing administration. You have the mercantile class who's doing business, and you have the workers class who's drawing salary and working for the companies, etc. Is this caste system?
No.
Right. Say it in English, it's not caste system. Because you know that all these four classes are present everywhere. You'll find them in US, you'll find them in Germany, you'll find them in China, you'll find everywhere, right? There are teachers, there are the business class, or the administrative class, then the business class, and the workers. Correct. But when you say in Hindi or in Sanskrit, it becomes caste system. Okay. So Krishna is saying that I have created, the Chatur Varnas, right? Chatur Varna Maya Shishtam, and they are based on guna and karma. Not that by birth you will become a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or Vaishya. Just like engineer's son is not an engineer by birth. He has to study. He has to acquire the qualities of an engineer and then do work of an engineer. Guna and karma both. Then he'll be called as an engineer or a lawyer or a doctor for that matter, right? So similarly, it's based on guna and karma. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that yet I am the non-doer, being unchangeable, right? So although Krishna has created the system, he's not involved. He's not, subjected to that, or he's not like somebody. There was, in Krishna Leela itself, there was somebody who called, Krishna and Balram as not Kshatriyas. Who was that? I think one of the friends in the assembly where they were playing chess, I guess. When during the marriage of Rukmini. Marriage of Rukmini or someone else? Sorry, not marriage of Rukmini. During the marriage of Usha and Anirudh. Yes, maybe. Prabhuji, you remember? Balramji actually smashed with his gada the head of a person who was
Well,
insulting.
Balramji, I think it might be Rukmini's marriage and Rukmi. I'm not sure.
Sorry? Rukmi's marriage and not Usha and Anirudh.
I think I don't know, maybe it's Rukmini's marriage where he killed her brother. I'm not sure.
No, Krishna, he insulted Rukmini's brother. That was different. But I think in some assembly, some chess match happened, and they were insulting that, oh, Krishna is not even a Kshatriya. Yeah, he's a Gwala. He's actually from the Vaishya community and things like that. So Balramji got offended and he smashed someone with the gada, someone who was actually insulting like that. I'm forgetting the name of the person. But anyways, so actually the Lord is above these four caste systems. Let's read this. The Lord is creator of everything. Everything is born of him. Everything is sustained by him, and everything after annihilation rests in him. He is therefore the creator of the four divisions of social order, beginning with intelligent class of men, technically called Brahmanas due to their being situated in the mode of goodness. Next is the administrative class, technically called the Kshatriyas due to being situated in mode of passion. The mercantile men, called Vaishyas, situated in mode of mixed modes of passion and ignorance, and Shudras, the labor class, are situated in the ignorant mode of material nature. Right? In spite of this, his creating the four divisions of human society, Lord Krishna does not belong to any of these divisions because he is not one of the conditioned souls, a section of whom form human society. Human society is similar to any other animal society, but to elevate men from animal status, the above mentioned divisions are created by the Lord for systematic development of Krishna consciousness. Why he is created? For systematic development of Krishna consciousness. The tendency of a particular man towards work is determined by the modes of material nature which he has acquired. So all Krishna is saying is, there are four divisions. You work as per your nature, otherwise you'll be frustrated, right? The tendency of a particular man towards work is determined by the modes of material nature which he has acquired. Such symptoms of life according to different modes of material nature are described in the 18th chapter of this book. A person in Krishna consciousness, however, is above even Brahmana. Although Brahmanas by quality are supposed to know about Brahman, the supreme absolute truth, most of them approach only impersonal Brahman manifestation of Lord Krishna. But a man who transcends the limited knowledge of Brahman, and reaches the knowledge of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, becomes a person in Krishna consciousness, or in other words, a Vaishnava. Krishna consciousness includes knowledge of all different plenary expansions of Krishna, namely Rama, Narasimha, Varaha, etc. And as Krishna is transcendental to this system of four divisions of human society, a person in Krishna consciousness is also transcendental to all divisions of human society, whether we consider the divisions of community, nation, or species. So, basis this, we see there are so many, people from the West whom Srila Prabhupada gave Brahman initiation or even sannyas diksha, etc. Right, and that's what Prabhupada said. The miracle that he's done is converted mlechas or monkeys into Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. So with Krishna consciousness, there is no consideration that, oh, this is Brahman, this is Shudra, you cannot is not qualified, etc. No, everyone is qualified. It's for everyone. Like in previous shloka we said, it's for everyone and anyone's satisfaction. Even if he's filled with material desires, or he has no desires, or he's after liberation, for everyone, Krishna consciousness is the best path. So that will stop here. If there are any questions or comments or any reflections, we can take that. Hare Krishna. So, anyone? Any thoughts, any questions? Any reflection from what you heard? Yes? All clear. Okay, if everything is clear, are we ready to serve Srila Prabhupada and do this marathon of book distribution? Where you can simply start with your own self if you don't have a copy of Bhagavad Gita, or your immediate relatives, make them fortunate. These books are like time bombs. When they go somewhere, they will definitely blast at the right time. Blast means, somebody will pick up the book and start reading, and there'll be a revolution. All the material, desires born out of ignorance and passion will be blasted. Will all go away, right? So if everything is clear, I think we should take this sankalpa of at least putting some effort, and in whatever way possible, you can come with us. Also, we will also go. Maybe we can plan something tomorrow evening or today evening as well. At least on weekends, weekdays also, if possible, for some people. Please, go out. You can use the medium of internet to distribute books if you already have, some groups, WhatsApp groups, etc. Some friends, you can ask them if they need a copy of Bhagavad Gita. It's being available because on the occasion of Gita Jayanti. Gita Jayanti is on the 14th of December, right? When Lord Krishna actually spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. So it's being available at a very, very discounted price, almost at the cost price, right? Some of you all may have some, stores near you. You may be running your own e-com store, right? Just put it out there, right? If the books are available in front of people, people will take. If you ask them, they will take, right? Some will take, some will not take. That's okay. But Krishna considers the number of people you approach. That is your score, right? So Krishna will see how much you're putting your efforts in order to spread this message, and with that, we'll have the mercy of the Lord, and we'll be lifted in our own spiritual advancements. So that's my humble request. Yes, Yagya Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. This reminds me to add to what you said regarding books. I also just figured out this month while I was contemplating on this thought that instead of like Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, there are many small books. And if we want to indirectly like approach someone, like if someone not interested to read Bhagavad Gita or already read, we can also give these small books which are coming with the indirect names and to the topics of they start with the topics of the worldly affairs, but they bring the reader to the same point of what we are reading in Bhagavad Gita. So many small books of Srila Prabhupada and very, very good and enlightening one. Um, I was just like, I can mention one example. There's this book, Beyond Illusion and Doubt. And to my surprise, when I opened this book, anyone who is a philosopher, like Srila Prabhupada has mentioned all philosophies of the modern writers, including Plato, Aristotle. He's starting with that, and from that conversation, he's bringing the reader to everything that we are reading in Bhagavad Gita. So, yeah, I just wanted to add this.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for bringing that up. So please use your intelligence, and see, whom to approach and how. Like Mataji said, someone may be very philosophically or scientifically inclined. We have books for those. Someone may be very, very, interested in stories. We have an entire Krishna book also available. Somebody who's, already knowing Bhagavad Gita a little bit and wants to, further dig deeper. So Bhagavad Gita has a very, very wide appeal as such. So obviously you can start with Bhagavad Gita, but then also see how people are responding, or somebody already has a copy of Bhagavad Gita. We can give them Krishna book. We can give them some other books, right? Other small books as well, like Mataji mentioned. There is Science of Self-Realization, Beyond Birth and Death, Beyond Illusion and Doubt, and so many others. So the first thing is you have to make these books available with yourself, or at least get connected to the parties or teams who are actually going out to distribute books. You can also put them online on your Facebook, share them with people on WhatsApp, and see what is the response. Even if one person turns to Krishna through your effort, right? That's an eternal credit. Whatever devotional service that person does, you're also benefited. Okay. So, okay, yes, Priyatama Mataji is saying also we can share, bring your friends to join Bhagavad Gita class. This will also be great service. Yes. So we will also be announcing a 3-day Bhagavad Gita course, maybe sometime in December only. We'll announce those dates very soon, maybe by tomorrow. So that, while we are trying to, ask people to take a copy of Bhagavad Gita or any other books, and if they say, no, I have, no, I have, but nobody's reading, etc. So you can invite them to the Bhagavad Gita class we'll be having. Either this class directly, or we can even plan a 3-session. Me and Pṛthā will discuss, or this class is also fine. Or maybe an introduction class of 3 days. That'll be slightly easier for newer people. So you can connect them here as well, so that they can also start reading Bhagavad Gita. So this month is very, very auspicious, the month of Gita Jayanti, and this is our transcendental duty, right? Spiritual duty to serve by spreading this message of the Lord in all possible places, in schools, in colleges, in wherever we have contacts, in our own buildings. Get us permission, we will come down and distribute books as well, right? If you are in some office, we can come down, distribute books. If you yourself are feeling a little shy, etc., we can do it in your own societies, buildings, like that. So just work a little hard and also use whatever intelligence the Lord has given in serving the Lord, and your life will be transformed. You'll be lifted up very, very quickly, right? In spiritual life. Prabhuji, you want to add something?
I was thinking everyone can take a pledge of distributing a certain number of copies of Bhagavad Gita. For example, someone might take a pledge of distributing 25 books. So if one takes a pledge, then one will want to work towards it. And we can approach first and foremost our own friends and family and relatives. And even if you just get us the address, we can just directly deliver it, to their address. So all you need to do is just approach them and tell us, okay, this person wants a Bhagavad Gita. So as what you're saying, they are available at very, very discounted prices. A book of that size and that quality would cost you around 1,000 rupees. It's available at around 200 rupees. So it's the message of the Lord, and Krishna, as what you're saying, is most pleased when we give this message of His to other people. So I remember the very first time in 2008, November, December time, when I got connected to the temple. It was already marathon month, and I had taken a pledge. And because I took a pledge, I actually worked towards trying to fulfill that pledge. I took my college friends to their buildings, and we went door to door in the building and distributed. I took people who were not devotees. So I went with my friends who were not devotees, and they were happily ready to take me to every flat in the society, and we distributed like that. So we can all think of a certain number and take a kind of a pledge that, okay, I will try and distribute these many books in this month. And the whole month is there. So it will be great service. And that's very often this thought comes to our mind that, oh, if I give this person, that person is never going to read it. They will never open it. And, I will get a bad karma, or a bad something will happen to me if they did not open it, or they don't touch it, or they disrespect it. All that we can do and think of is how we can distribute books. When that person will read and open, and whether they'll actually read at all, we should not consider that. That is we leave it to Krishna, because our duty is to bring it to them, and then when they read, that will happen. I remember this first time when I was had gone for book distribution. My friend took to different flats, and we went, and then he would say, this person will surely not buy, and we knocked the door, and then the person opened, and that person actually bought. So every assumption that he made that this person is not going to buy, every such person bought the book. So we never know, who's interested and what is going in their life and what they're looking for. So we should just keep all of those considerations aside and just think of one thing. I just want to reach as many people possible. So let us all take a pledge, and then if there is any help needed from our side in trying to read the books, we are all ready to help. Okay. So even if you get us the address of the person who wants it, if you want books delivered to you, maybe a set of 10 books, 15 books, 20 books, 50 books, we can get it delivered to your place also. And then you can distribute personally, you can gift if there is a certain occasion coming, a birthday or an anniversary, or whatever, maybe a New Year gift. So put it in your WhatsApp status, put it in your Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. Please try and reach.
So just last point I'll add, I think very nice point, Pṛthā Prabhu. So we call it pledge in English, and in Hindi we call it Sankalpa, right? And it's a very beautiful tradition. So even when we would do Vrindavan Parikrama or Mayapur Parikrama. It's like we take Sankalpa. There is a day where we first take Sankalpa and then start Mayapur Parikrama. Why? Because the Sankalpa is very, very powerful. You're formally announcing and telling to the Lord that I'm going to do this for you. Right? Now, someone will say, why do we need to formally say this? Right? Because when you say it, it actually, Krishna is blessing, to carry out that sankalpa, and he's also, you're showing the Lord that, my intention. And this is very, very famous actually. Nowadays, used very widely in the corporate world. There are people running off, big businesses basis this. It's called as intent writing, right? A lot of motivational speakers and things. They will use this technique. They're like, write your intent and stick it on the wall, and then you'll be able to achieve it, and people actually achieve it also, right? And I know of a person myself who's making big money just by saying this. That's it, right? What he does is holds workshop where they figure out what is the intent, then write that intent, and people feel so happy about it, and they actually go and achieve that target in their business, etc. And this guy is paid like in lakhs for 2-3 sessions like this. So Sankalpa is nothing but the same. We are actually, putting our intention behind what we are saying, that this is my intention, and you're expressing it to the Lord. Lord is a person, and you express things to him. It's like, when you express yourself, oh, I want to do MBA to your father or your mother, right? They will say, like, okay, yeah, very nice, good. And they will also try and support something from their side, right? Imagine Krishna doing the same, supporting from his side. What will stop from it to be fulfilled? So that's sankalpa. So if you take some pledge or sankalpa like that, very easily. There's this Mataji in Delhi, right? So during the what is that Bhagavatam marathon, what Purnima? Bhadra Purnima marathon, right? Some of you all took Bhagavatam sets. So she had taken a pledge. In fact, Guru Maharaj had given her, you do 1,000 Bhagavatam sets. And she thought this is a lifetime target. 100 Bhagavad Gita nahi jata, 1,000 Bhagavatam set kahan se? And believe me, she was able to complete her target. And Guru Maharaj personally appreciated her. And she said, I did not know how it happened. I just started approaching people online. And in 2-3 months' time, she was able to do 1,000 Bhagavatam sects. Right? So it's amazing how Krishna empowers. When you're willing to do, you show willingness through the sankalpa that, yes, I'm willing, right, to serve you. And then Krishna will empower you more and more. So anyone who would like to take some sankalpa, please come ahead. You can, pledge at least, I'll do 10 books, 15 books, like that. Or you can join us as well when we're going. We'll try and plan some things on Saturdays and Sundays, but it'll be a little local in our areas. If you have some place where you can set up things and we can come, either a society or a company, we're happy to do that as well. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam. I will join when you go for book distribution.
Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Chaitanya. Hare Krishna.
So yeah, we have the youngest member already volunteering. Very nice. She is leading the way. Okay, so yes, someone wants to pledge something, someone wants to share or say
You can also
something.
donate, give Vidya Dan for people who cannot.